G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the brand new expansion for Age of Empires 4. This is the Sultan's Ascent. Today, we have a battle of the best. Two of the world's best players up against each other with two old civilizations in a matchup considered one of the hardest in Age of Empires 4. Let's get to it. Spawning in the west of the map, in the color blue as the Chinese, it's Recon, aka Rack Attack. And on the east side of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, it's Beastie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell button. I gotta remind you, because, well, if I don't remind you, you just won't do it. So that's why we do it. It's funny, because, you know, whenever you remind people to do it, it always feels a little bit weird. And, you know, often whenever I'm doing it, it's almost a bit awkward, I would say. But I was watching because we're looking at getting a new car, and the car reviewer said something along the lines of, I can't remember his name. Oh, I think it was Accelerate. That was the YouTube channel. He said, make sure if you're enjoying the video, leave a like on the video, because if I don't remind you, you're just not going to do it. And I was like, it's so true. And then I tried to like the video, and it didn't let me, because I don't think I was logged in. Anyway, there you go. A little bit of behind the scenes stuff for you. Let's get into it. We got ourselves some good fun. Brand new map, Himiyama, of course, one of the best maps on the current rank pool circuit. I'm going to be honest. You know, these guys, the devs, they change the map pool like, what, once, twice, 3 times, maybe a season. If they change it and they remove Himiyama, I'll actually be upset. I'll be upset because I do like this map. I think it's a good map. It's a good quality map. And I think the pond in the middle does really create a nice little bit of strategic importance that's here. And one thing to note, that already early on, Beastie has taken advantage of it, going with the dock, aggressive placement as well. But I guess he's largely just looking not to stomp any of these fishing pools, which makes a lot of sense. Now, on the other side of the map, Rack Attack has not gone for any water at all. Now, I mentioned something a little bit earlier. I mentioned that this is considered to be one of the hardest matchups in Age of Empires 4 history. Let me explain. I'm a Chinese player. I played the Chinese for a long time. For pretty much my entire history playing Age of Empires 4. And when AoE4's expansion pack came out, I played Juicy's Legacy. It never really stops with me. I'm a big boomer. That's why I love the Chinese. But I always had trouble with one matchup. It was the Holy Roman Empire. And I studied this matchup, and I tried to work it out as much as I could, and I just couldn't crack it. I couldn't find it. And I'll be honest, I still don't really know the answer to it. The Holy Roman Empire is faster, stronger, better, and most importantly, harder, better, faster, stronger. Anyway, it's the Daft Punk reference. That's where I'm putting it. The Daft Punk reference. Good song, and that's the Daft. I mean, the Kanye reboot was pretty good as well. I did kind of like that one. I remember the first time I heard that song, I was like, "What is that song?" My ears are just being groped with goodness right now. And anyway, so this matchup is difficult because the Holy Roman Empire is just so much quicker with all of its benchmarks, right? So, as an example, the main thing that we do in this matchup as the Chinese is we go 2TC Song Dynasty, and we're gonna slowly build that villager gap up. The problem is that the Holy Roman Empire is just going to go Imperial Age, and they're going to get there pretty quickly, and Beastie's the kind of guy who's going to go very, very fast. I'm thinking probably somewhere around 12 minutes, maybe a little bit earlier than that, depending on what kind of attack Rack Attack throws out here. And, you know, his name's Rack Attack. I'm expecting something big here, and I also would note he's got water, which means it's going to be even faster. But I would be expecting that. So he's going to look to try and take relics. And essentially, the villager gap that you build with the Song Dynasty 2TCs gets eaten up by the relics. And then by the time your opponent gets Imperial Age, their Swabia comes online. And now all of a sudden, you're just... even though the villager count is still in your favor, it's just that your resource... You don't have enough resources. They're faster than you. There's no real way to stop it. And I still don't have the answer to it. I don't know what to do. I think with this matchup, you have to play out of the box. And we've covered this matchup plenty of times before, and that's one of the common things that we see players do. It's put Barbicans on gold veins. It is, you know... There we go. There we go. Exactly what we need to be doing. Now, it looks like he's gone for a Barbican in the pond, which is okay. I think that's fine, but it doesn't really do much, right? If anything, it's almost a bait by Beastie, saying, you know, if you can Barbican me on the pond, then that's absolutely fine. It kind of shuts down the fishing boats that he's got. We can see the villagers are still here. It does get scattered out by Beastie. He's going to go for 4 villagers in the middle here, and it is going to be indeed the Barbican. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can deal with water, but this is obviously one of those ways, and Beastie now aging up. It's curious to me that Recon's bringing so many villages to the middle here. It's like, okay, well, you need to get Song Dynasty, that's right. But the other thing to note is that when you're doing this is a pretty big walk distance, right? 6 villages coming out here. I mean, technically it says 8 on the landmark. I would have just preferred for like 1 villager just to come out here, or even 2 villagers just coming out here and just starting this landmark first, just so you save yourself 8 villagers walking to the middle of the map. Like, unless these guys are going to be going out to a boar, which I guess is a potential option for him, it doesn't really make much sense to get them out here this far. But the other thing I guess he could be doing is looking to load up the Barbican with his villagers, just so that he's able to one-shot the fishing boats. It looks like we're not going to be seeing that just at this stage. Beastie's going to try and find a nestled little pocket over on this east side, and I think he actually may have found it. Have a look at this. We got 1 fishing boat working its magic. Meanwhile, behind this, keep in mind Beastie going to Castle Age, and it's a pretty damn nice timing here. Now, the typical benchmark we're looking for is 6 minutes. 6 minutes is when, as the Chinese, you want your 2 TCs and you want your Song Dynasty. We can see that at the moment, Recon is quite behind where that should be. We're at 6 minutes, and he's only just collected his first round of stone. Beastie, on the other hand, has just clicked his age up button. This is why this matchup is so damn difficult, because the Chinese, it just feels like you don't have any answer to what the Holy Roman Empire are doing. They just do everything better, everything faster than you. And on top of that, when you get to the Imperial Age, they have access to the Culverin, which just makes fighting against them so much harder. But I think realistically, that's probably the biggest hope you can have as the Chinese, is to make it to the Imperial Age and then move into hand cannoneers. I think that's pretty much the only real play that you've got. But Beastie now has aged up. We're right on board with him as the relics begin to get picked up. The first of the prelates is making his way out. You can see an aggressive move by Beastie coming straight towards this back relic. Now, when it comes to relics, I often say, if you can secure 3 relics, that's the Holy Roman Empire, you're doing well. If you could do it 4 relics, you're going great. And if you can do 5 relics, well, there's a problem, because your opponent isn't doing what they should be. One of the things to note is there are ways that you can counterplay what is happening here. So one of the big ways that you can counterplay this is that you can get villagers out on the map. You can look to wall these relics in. And with the Chinese, you do have faster build speed. But when you do that, you do give up things like this faster town center. Now, this town center does come up at 7 minutes 30. So he's about 90 seconds behind where... well, not 90 seconds. Probably closer to a minute behind where he should be. But we can largely draw that down to the Barbican in the middle of the map, which required a lot of villagers, it felt, for some reason. Anyway, we move on and move forward. Spearmen are out here. Now, he's not going to be able to go for the Wallalol just yet. He could obviously look to hit it, and the Spearman would probably have to make a run for it. There he goes now. He's going to try and force a commit. Doesn't actually find it. Spearman moves it to the edge. You can actually see the radius of the Wallalol there. That was quite nice. Throws the relic down, and he's just going to sprint on in. He says, I don't want to lose this relic, and I know that you're not going for Castle Age just yet. You're going 2 TC. Of course you are. You're playing the Chinese. It naturally makes sense. So he's going to run back here, cop a little bit of healing from the prelate, and, well, he's just going to exchange it over and jump in the Ark and Chapel. That's going to work out even better for him. Meanwhile... down towards the south side, double spearman. It looks like he might find it, and he needs to delete them now. He takes them both. Beastie steals the double spearman from his opponent, and now has the counter to his opponent's single spear. Very well timed there by Beastie. 1, 2 relics on the way in, 3 relics on the way in, 4 relics on the way in, and ladies and gentlemen, the 5th and final relic is just nestled outside Beastie's stone mine. Wow. This is a tough position for his opponent. You have lost every single relic in this game. Scout will go down. It's not going to make a huge difference. Beastie working his way towards Imperial Age. And meanwhile, this whole time, Recon has been pumping villagers. He is in Song Dynasty, so the villagers are going to be coming out fast. Every 15 seconds, you'll be making villagers out of these town centers, which means once you get... so at the moment, if we were to do the math, Recon is making 8 villagers every minute, whereas Beastie is only making 3 villagers a minute. However, Beastie has relics. He's got 2 relics now in the bag. 3rd one on the way in. 4th one coming through as well. 5th one. There it is. That's a lot of gold. That is a lot of gold coming through right now. And you can see just how powerful the Holy Roman Empire are in this position. So if I was gonna, if I was coaching this, and quite often I will coach over on Patreon. If you'd like to check that out, and if you want to improve, make sure you check it out. There's plenty of content there. I'll leave a link in the description. But one of the things that I do is I sort of look from a top-down perspective and say, okay, what are the things that we could be doing differently here? So number one, it's denying relics. Now, of course, we want to try and fulfill our own game plan here. Our own game plan is that we want to live our life. Speaking of living our life, do you guys remember T.I.? T.I.? Anyone? I was in my hometown, Canberra, and I saw a poster for a tournament. I saw a poster for a tournament. I saw a poster for a concert, and it had like the biggest names in R&B of 2008. That's the punchline right there. It was like, I'm not kidding you, T-Pain, T.I., Ashanti was there, dude. Like everyone was just like Mario. Do you remember that Mario song that you probably still quote occasionally? Imperial Age. Yep, there it is, 10 minutes, 35. He's not even flexing, and he's just pulling off the 10:35 Imperial Ages. I said 12 minutes, could be earlier. Yeah. He's Imperial Age. His opponent, feudal, not even close. And I think this is the difference, right? This is why this matchup's so hard. It just feels like there's nothing you can do. So, I did my Donald Trump hands just then, by the way. I was doing my hands back and forth. There's nothing you can do. I walked in, I said there's nothing you can do. Anyway, where were we? All right. I mean, what can you do in this situation? So I think number one is like we could have walled in relics. That's the first thing. So you probably could have walled in 4 relics. So what does that do? Number one, that forces your opponent to make units, delays the age up. And every minute you delay the age up, then you delay the Swabia, which is producing, a ridiculous amount of villas. We're talking 9 villages a minute coming out of this bad boy. So it is a huge amount of villages. So if you delay your opponent by even like 2 minutes, then all of a sudden you're killing their economy by 18 villages. It's a huge difference. So that's always a consideration to make, is walling relics. But other than that, I feel like going for the second TC is definitely the right call, but it feels like it almost came in too early in a way, because it's like, well, if I had to wall in the relics, then I have to spend... man, I don't know. I really don't know. You got one of the world's... Sorry, I will say it right now. The world's best player playing the Holy Roman Empire up against the Chinese. And obviously, Recon's no slouch. For anybody who doesn't know Recon, he's an incredible player. Top 10 player, definitely in my top 10. I got a lot of players in my top 10, but Recon is 100% in there. And he's in like the actual top 10. I'm not talking like your Drongo's top 10, where I'm in the top 10. No, this is like the actual top 10. Anyway, outposts are coming up, and this is the defense, right? Like, this is where it all comes through, where you've aged up at 10 minutes, and so now your defenses are coming online. He's gathering up stone. He can throw a market down if he really needs the stone in a bit of a pinch. But the outposts are coming up there, got emergency repairs on them, and of course, on top of that, you've also got your stone. Your emplacements that are going to be coming through shortly, so expect to see your cannon emplacements on the way. They'll be coming through, which are, of course, are cheaper. It's just this. I feel like I'm giving a tour of a civilization that is just absolutely broken. But you got to remember, it's only broken in this matchup. Every other matchup, it just feels really good. And you can go check the stats. I think we did the stats at Conk 3 Plus are just ridiculous. I think it's like 65% win rate for the Holy Roman Empire. They're just so damn good in this matchup. But behind this, rack attack. He's going Castle Age. Sorry, just gave my mic a little tap there. Castle Age about to come through right now. 13 minutes. He is up to Castle Age 3 minutes after his opponent reached Imperial Age. And at this stage, he is making only prelates. He made only prelates. That's all he's doing. There's nothing else out here. 13 shiny boys. Imperial shiny boys, by the way. Not just any shiny boys. They look so good, don't they? They look really, really good. Spears, they'll be sieging here indefinitely. We'll just keep riding on board with his opponent and see how it's going at this stage. Wait, what? Oh, it's the cannon in place. The cannon emplacement is online. It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced. 2 spearmen here, 2 spearmen there. Single spearman down here on the south side, but look, he won't be for much longer. Take a look at the upgrades coming through right now. Devoutness coming in. We've got, I'm going to try and, it's not Benediction, it's Inspired Warriors. Inspired Warriors? Inspired Warriors, look at that. Nailing it right there, Drongo. You know, I can't remember the name of landmarks, but I can remember the names of Civ-specific unique upgrades. There you go. So, at this stage of the game, Beastie is very close to reaching parity. Remember that Rack Attack, aka Recon, has been on 2 TC since the 7th minute. He has been pumping out villages, and he is so far ahead of any other civilization in the game. The problem is it's been a passive game, a passive opening. Beastie's managed to collect all 5 relics, and on top of that is now an Imperial Age. The economies are growing, so at this stage, Beastie, or rather, Recon is pumping out 8 villages every minute here. Compare that to Beastie, who's got the town center that's producing 3, but the Palace of Swabia is producing 9. So now you've got 12 villages a minute versus 8 a minute, and you are catching up quickly. We can see just how quickly he's closing the gap, but guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We haven't even talked about the elephant in the room. The relics. 800 plus gold per minute coming through every single minute for Beastie. He sits with the Ragnits happily, just chilling out, biding his time. But the question is, what approach does he look to take? Now, it looks like it will be an infantry approach here. Men-at-arms, starting out. Plenty of prelates in the back. Now, I'm curious to see what approach he takes with regard to siege, because for me, the answer to this equation has always been one around siege. Siege just makes it work. The double Culverin, double Bombard, double Mangonel combo is just chef's kiss. I love it. I think it's what makes the Holy Roman Empire great, because the men-at-arms, they're great against everything except for your hand cannoneers and your crossbows. And obviously those 2 units get countered very effectively by Mangonels. But Mangonels lose pretty badly to enemy Culverin or enemy Springalds, so you've naturally got to have your own Culverin out to defend them. And of course, finally, you need the cherry on top, which is that Bombard, which is going to allow you to get through things like keeps, allow you to get through those landmarks, which is really important. And your men-at-arms, while they do have the ability to siege, it's not as quick as a Bombard or 2 in the rear. But men-at-arms still yet to get that elite upgrade. He's only got the 5 men-at-arms out on the field at the moment. Plenty more barracks coming down for Beastie in the north, and the upgrade, it's not even going to be an upgrade. This is going to be a Great Wall Gatehouse. Where does he go with this? Is he looking to play defensive? Is that what he's thinking? He is. He's playing defensive. Bit of an awkward spot. I would have liked it up a little bit closer to the farms just to stop any of potential raids coming through, but this is still decent as long as there's more farms that will come down here. The problem is the range on this landmark. If we have a look at it, it's the range extends all the way down here, so it's a lot of wasted space. And by having it up closer, he just might not have been able to get it closer. Like maybe you couldn't get a stone wall in there. Maybe that's what was preventing it. But the closer you can get it to the center of these farms, the better, because it's just going to shut down any raid. So really smart move there from Recon. Okay, so towards the middle of the map, Barbican just working its magic in. Elite upgrades now on the way through for the Beast. Rack Attack reaching the Imperial Age 17 minutes into the game. A very passive game. Both players just going Imperial Age. No one really at this stage committing to a huge army except for Beastie. Well, he's making it work. So now at this stage, the big thing for Recon, so you can see that he's got plenty of hand cannoneers in queue. The big thing is going to be gold control. He really needs to make sure he's got solid gold control here. We can see that he's used the first gold vein. Second one now coming out. Needs to move the Imperial Official. Does have it supervising. This is good. He's picked up his acid distillation and the specialized pick, which is wonderful. Don't get cupellation. Not a good tech at all. So don't look to get your tier 3 tech. But the big question for me is going to be gold. And I think that could be the whole shtick that Beastie looks to approach here. So I would be thinking about looking to try and take control of this south side. You could go for a very aggressive keep down here. You might face a couple of issues, that being you're close to enemy siege, but it would look to secure things like these gold veins on the backside here. Keep in mind that Beastie's probably got minimal villagers on gold at the moment. Indeed, he does. There's the keep. It's coming down in the center. Sacred sites have been taken. And now up towards the north side, we've got hand cannoneers together with some crossbowmen looking to try and deal with these men-at-arms. More men-at-arms coming out towards the center. The keep will be coming down. It looks like if the keep does get up, it's not going to secure the gold, as his opponent's keep will still technically have range. So even though this keep, if it does get up, will look good. There's the Bombard. The first of the Bombards arrives before the keep even gets online. And Rack Attack, he is under attack right now, trying his best, not even kiting out. Rack Attack, we're 19 minutes into the game. I expect better from you. And now at the same time, facing a little bit of a problem on the defense. Walls are slowly coming up around the base. Palisades around these wood lines. A little bit of a stone wall back here, but it's not going to do a whole lot of work for him. Sacred sites have been captured. Springwood emplacement on the Barbican. Keep was not successfully placed. And to be honest, I think this is actually a blessing in disguise for him. If this keep comes up, he's looking to commit to this top side, but the reality is he will never have control of this gold. With the keep coming up from his opponent, the reality that there's going to be cannon emplacements with relics here, he can extend out the emergency repairs. You're not killing this keep anytime. You're not getting control of this gold. If anything, you're denying it from your opponent, but the reality is your opponent doesn't really need it at this stage of the game. And now, towards the middle, we're right on board as their hand cannoneers look to try and take out some of this heals. Palace Guards also jumping in on the fray. A little villager or two in there as well, but the bombards, we can see they're out on the rear. Double bombards by the sound of it. Hand cannoneers continue to focus down. This army needs to make sure that he's only bringing the hand cannoneers back. You can see they're trying to move into formation every single time he moves them back here. That's just going to slow them down even more, so they take a little bit more damage. Prelates on the backside continue healing up, continue inspiring right now. And Beastie is looking to dominate this position. No Culverins out just yet for him. No Mangonels out for him just yet, but he's doing a decent job. Bombard's moving up, but he's got to be careful. He needs to avoid overextending here, because definitely with the number of units that are out for his opponent, he could look to try and very quickly capitalize on the fact that there are not a whole lot of men-at-arms here. And you can see those Bombards doing a decent job of teeing off towards the backside. There's definitely some big shots coming out. Counter bombard now coming out as well from Recon. He's managed to eat through the majority of these prelates here. Beastie losing a lot of those, but keep in mind they are cheaper than the average religious unit. And now more and more units going to start rallying in towards that top side. Beastie with men-at-arms working on the villagers on the gold vein. Remember, gold control has been a theory or a bit of a part of this game from the very, very beginning. And now down towards the south side, we can see exactly what that's all about, as Beastie is looking to secure up more gold down here. Another keep coming onto the front line, trying his hardest to defend. Rack Attack still struggling up against these bombards. The bombards now making their way through. A third bombard going to be coming out for Beastie here. Double bombards working off in the clock tower. The clock tower able to snipe it out. Will he get away though? Looks like he might make it out just in time. He's going to be able to switcheroo here. Needs some villagers pulled to the front. There they are. Now going to be able to repair back up. Hand cannoneers moving forward. Should be able to do some decent damage. Able to take out the second bombard with pretty much ease. Teeing off now towards the back. These additional bombards could look to clean it up. And it looks like we might have ourselves a stabilization. Meanwhile, towards that top side, it looks like Rack Attack is going to be attempting to take this gold. Walls did come up. Imperial official is out. Mining camp did get secured. And with this keep coming online, it will give him a great staging point to work from that north side onwards. The problem's going to be on the south side. The villagers have gone down. He wasn't even paying attention. He's lost that gold. And now by losing this gold, he's now going to lose the subsequent gold. Loses the third gold. 3 golds now taken by Beastie. More men-at-arms moving in on the south side. Villagers able to start trickling in that gold passively for Beastie. Villagers doing a little bit of ring around the rosy. Bombards on the way through as well for him. Siege engineering coming through for Beastie. He's looking... Sorry, siege works coming through for Beastie. He's getting a little bit more health on those bombards. Ville's now going to have to focus on repairing up this keep as the bombard look to shell it down. Hand cannoneers moving forward. Double bombards out for Rack Attack. Expect to see Culverin coming out shortly from Beastie in response to it. Perhaps he's got another trick up his sleeve. And now, the defensive nest of bees on the Great Wall Gatehouse as a single villager just stands underneath like, I will be your hero, baby. Men-at-arms still continuing to move forward, looking to connect with that bombard. It's going to be the one on the back. Remember, it's the clock tower. It's got a little bit more health to grind through, but it looks like they will be able to take it down. It's going to be an expensive loss right there. And now, moving forward are the hordes. The hordes are battering rams on the south side. Looks like for the most part, Beastie has stabilized down here. One of the things I'd love to see from Beastie are walls. I'd love to see just a little bit more, so some stone walls coming across here, stone walls across this front. Just try and segment this out a little bit, prevent your opponent from really getting through with any unit. So hopefully we see that coming through shortly from him. But now on that top side, the keep under pressure. Villagers are up here, in control of the gold for the moment. 157 villagers for Beastie. 111 for Rack Attack, and remember, he's got the gold from the relics on top of it. The double sacred site continue ticking. 4 minutes and 44 seconds to go. Not a bad number. Battering rams will eventually take down that keep, but it's going to be at what cost? I mean, you're throwing away battering rams here, unfortunately, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's worth it for the gold that you're going to be denying from your opponent. And the game gets called just like that. Beastie realizing that he is absolutely dominating his opponent. Recon stating, well, you know what? There's no way I'm winning this game if I don't have control of this gold. And we knew it wasn't going to be the case. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The hardest matchup going exactly the way we thought. Make sure you check out these creators. Links in the description. Goodbye.